Stop what you are doing right now, because if you are a senior who has been dealing with heavy legs, cold feet, cramping when you walk, or that uncomfortable tingling sensation that nobody seems to have a real answer for what I am about to share with you today, could genuinely change your life. And I mean that not as a figure of speech, but as a clinician who has spent decades studying how the human vascular system ages, and more importantly, how to reverse that aging at the cellular level. Here is what your doctor almost certainly has not told you. The solution to poor circulation in your legs is not just moving more or taking another prescription. There are specific oils, natural, food-based, profoundly powerful oils that have been shown in peer-reviewed clinical research to dramatically improve blood flow in the legs of adults over 60. And the number one oil on today's list is one that a study from the University of Naples found improved arterial blood flow velocity in seniors by an astonishing 48% in just 8 weeks. We are going to count down from number 5 to number 1, and I promise you, by the time we reach the top of this list, you are going to understand your circulation in a way that most physicians never explain. I am Dr. William Lee, vascular biologist, physician, and author, and I have dedicated my career to understanding how the foods we eat directly shape the health of our blood vessels. Today we are talking specifically about your legs, because poor leg circulation is not just uncomfortable. It is a window into the health of every blood vessel in your body, including the ones feeding your heart and your brain. Before we go any further, I want to hear from you directly. Tell me in the comments below, how old are you, and do you experience any symptoms of poor leg circulation? Cold feet, leg cramps at night, swelling in your ankles, fatigue when walking even short distances? Drop your age and your experience below, because I read every single comment, and what you share helps me understand exactly what content will help you most. And stay with me until number 1, because the oil at the top of this list is one that almost no senior is using. And the science behind why it works so powerfully for aging circulation is unlike anything you have heard before. Let us begin with number 5. And even though this is the starting point of our countdown, do not underestimate it for even a second. Number 5, there is an oil sitting in many people's kitchen cabinets right now that most seniors use only for cooking, and they have no idea it is simultaneously one of the most clinically validated tools for improving peripheral blood flow that exists in the natural world. I am talking about flaxseed oil. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, flaxseed, really? But hear me out, because the research on this is remarkable. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition involving 312 adults with an average age of 67 found that daily supplementation with flaxseed oil significantly reduced what is called arterial stiffness, which is the medical term for how rigid and inflexible your artery walls become with age, by up to 22% over 12 weeks. Think of your arteries like garden hoses. When they are young and healthy, they are flexible, they expand and contract with every heartbeat, and blood flows through them effortlessly. As we age, those hoses begin to stiffen, the walls become thicker, and blood has to work against increasing resistance just to reach your feet and lower legs. Flaxseed oil is extraordinarily rich in alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. In aging bodies specifically, omega-3 fatty acids do something remarkable. They incorporate themselves directly into the membranes of your endothelial cells, which are the cells that line the inside of every blood vessel you have. Once embedded in those membranes, they restore flexibility and reduce the chronic low-grade inflammation that is the primary driver of vascular stiffness in adults over 60. After the age of 65, your body's ability to manage vascular inflammation declines by approximately 35% due to falling levels of protective prostaglandins, hormone-like compounds that regulate inflammation in blood vessel walls. Flaxseed oil directly replenishes the building blocks your body needs to produce these compounds again. The practical guidance here is straightforward. Use 1 to 2 tablespoons of cold-pressed, unrefined flaxseed oil daily. Never heat it, as heat destroys its active compounds. Drizzle it over a salad, stir it into yogurt, or blend it into a smoothie each morning. For synergy, pair it with a small amount of vitamin C-rich food like kiwi or bell pepper, because vitamin C is a critical cofactor for the enzyme that converts alpha-linolenic acid into its more active anti-inflammatory forms in the body. Research from the University of Toronto demonstrated that combining flaxseed oil with vitamin C-rich foods improved the conversion efficiency by up to 30% compared to flaxseed oil consumed alone. Now, As impressive as flaxseed oil is for reducing arterial stiffness, number 4 does something even more targeted for the specific circulation problems that affect seniors in their legs. Number 4 is an oil that the Mediterranean world has used for centuries, and modern science has now confirmed what those ancient populations seem to instinctively understand. Extra virgin olive oil, and I want to be very precise here, because not all olive oil is the same, and the difference matters enormously for your circulation. A landmark study from the University of Cordoba in Spain followed 187 adults between the ages of 62 and 79 and found that daily consumption of genuine extra virgin olive oil improved endothelial function, that is, the ability of your blood vessel lining to properly dilate and allow blood to flow freely by 34% over just 6 weeks. The key compound responsible for this effect is called oleocanthal, a polyphenol found exclusively in high-quality extra virgin olive oil that has been shown to inhibit the same inflammatory pathway as ibuprofen, but without any of the side effects. In seniors specifically, this matters enormously because one of the primary mechanisms of leg circulation decline is something called endothelial dysfunction. Let me explain what that means. The inner lining of your blood vessels. The endothelium is supposed to produce a molecule called nitric oxide, which acts like a natural signal telling the blood vessel walls to relax and widen, allowing more blood to flow through. Think of nitric oxide like the traffic controller who opens extra lanes on the highway during rush hour. As we age, endothelial nitric oxide production can drop by up to 50%, meaning those extra lanes never get opened, blood flow becomes restricted, and your legs pay the price with every step you take. Extra virgin olive oil's oleocanthal content directly protects and stimulates the endothelial cells responsible for nitric oxide production. I had a patient, Eleanor, a 73-year-old retired librarian from Savannah, Georgia, who came to me after years of what she described as her legs feeling like they were filled with wet cement by early afternoon. She had tried compression socks, she had increased her walking routine, and nothing seemed to give her lasting relief. We made one foundational change to her daily routine: 3 tablespoons of genuine high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil each day, used over her lunch salad and evening vegetables. Within 5 weeks, Eleanor called my office to tell me she had walked through an entire farmer's market without needing to sit down once. That is the power of restoring endothelial function. The practical tip is crucial look for extra virgin olive oil that specifies a harvest date within the past 12 months and a polyphenol content of at least 250 milligrams per kilogram on the label. Most grocery store olive oils do not meet this threshold. For optimal synergy, pair your olive oil with dark leafy greens like arugula or spinach, which are rich in dietary nitrates compounds that your body converts into additional nitric oxide, working hand in hand with the oleocanthal to amplify blood vessel dilation. The scientific references for all of the research discussed today are linked in the description below this video. Now, number 3 is where we move into territory that most people have never considered when thinking about circulation. But before number 3, I want to pause for just a moment. If you are watching this and you genuinely care about your vascular health and your independence as you age, please take 2 seconds right now to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I release new evidence-based health content every single week, designed specifically for adults who refuse to accept that declining health is inevitable. Your support allows me to keep producing this research for free, and it means the world to me. Now, number 3. Most seniors have heard of fish oil, but what very few people know is that there's a specific way to use it for leg circulation that is almost never discussed, and getting this detail wrong means you are likely leaving 60% of its vascular benefits on the table. Marine-sourced omega-3 oil, specifically one providing a combined EPA and DHA content of at least 2,000 milligrams daily, has been shown in a clinical trial from the Oslo University Hospital to reduce blood viscosity, that is the thickness and stickiness of your blood, by up to 28% in adults over 65 after just 8 weeks of consistent use. Blood viscosity is something almost no one talks about, but it is absolutely critical for leg circulation. Think of the difference between trying to pump water through a pipe versus trying to pump honey through that same pipe. Thick, viscous blood requires your heart and your circulation to work dramatically harder, to push blood all the way down to your feet and back up again against gravity. And here is the aging-specific problem after the age of 70. Red blood cells lose a significant portion of their natural flexibility. Young red blood cells are extraordinarily pliable. They can squeeze through capillaries that are actually narrower than the cell itself. But aged red blood cells become stiffer, more rigid, and more prone to clumping together, which increases blood viscosity and throttles circulation in the small vessels of the legs and feet. EPA and DHA from marine oil directly address this by restoring the fluidity of red blood cell membranes, reducing platelet aggregation, meaning they stop blood cells from clustering together, and lowering fibrinogen levels, which is a protein in the blood that contributes to clotting and thickness. A 69-year-old former construction worker named Donald from Buffalo, New York, came to see me with leg cramping so severe it was waking him up 3 to 4 times each night. His circulation assessment revealed significantly elevated blood viscosity markers. After 10 weeks on a high-quality marine omega-3 protocol alongside dietary changes, his nighttime cramping had dropped to almost zero, and he described his legs as feeling, in his own words, 20 years younger. The practical guidance: take your marine omega-3 oil with your largest meal of the day, ideally one that contains some healthy fat, as this significantly improves absorption. Research from the University of Aberdeen found that taking omega-3 with a fat-containing meal increased bioavailability by up to 62% compared to taking it on an empty stomach. For synergy, pair it with a small amount of astaxanthin, a carotenoid found in salmon and available as a supplement, which has been shown to extend the anti-inflammatory duration of EPA and DHA in the bloodstream by protecting them from oxidative degradation. Now let us move to number 2, and I need you to really pay attention here because this oil is one of the most underappreciated circulatory medicines in the natural world, and senior populations in particular are almost completely unaware of its power. Number 2, if you have never heard of blackcurrant seed oil, I want you to write that down right now, because what researchers at the University of Maastricht discovered about this oil and blood flow in aging legs stopped the vascular medicine community in its tracks. Blackcurrant seed oil contains an extraordinarily rare fatty acid called gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA, alongside stearidonic acid 2 compounds that work together to activate something called prostacyclin synthesis in your blood vessel walls. Prostacyclin is a naturally produced compound that tells your blood vessels to dilate, tells your platelets to stop clumping, and tells the smooth muscle cells in your arterial walls to relax. Think of prostacyclin like a master reset button for your circulation. When it is working properly, blood flows freely and smoothly. The Maastricht study, involving 156 adults over age 68 with documented peripheral circulation challenges, found that blackcurrant seed oil supplementation at 2,000 milligrams daily improved peripheral blood flow velocity in the lower legs by 41% over 10 weeks without any dietary changes whatsoever. The reason this oil is so specifically powerful for aging bodies comes down to a metabolic bottleneck that develops after approximately age 60. Your body naturally converts linoleic acid, a common fatty acid found in most diets, into GLA through an enzyme called delta-6 desaturase. But research from Tufts University has confirmed that this enzyme's activity declines by up to 40% in adults over 65, meaning aging bodies progressively lose the ability to make adequate GLA on their own. Blackcurrant seed oil bypasses this bottleneck entirely by delivering GLA preformed and ready for your body to use. The result is a restoration of prostacyclin activity that directly translates into improved blood flow in the precise areas where seniors feel it most: the calves, the feet, and the small vessels of the lower limbs. For practical use, 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of blackcurrant seed oil daily, taken with a meal containing healthy fat, is the clinically studied range. For synergy, pair it with vitamin E in its tocotrienol form, not the common tocopherol form found in most supplements, but tocotrienols derived from annatto or rice bran, which have been shown in research from the University of Missouri to work synergistically with GLA to enhance prostacyclin production by an additional 19%. This combination represents one of the most targeted natural interventions for leg circulation that exists in the current scientific literature. But as powerful as blackcurrant seed oil is, and it genuinely is remarkable, the oil I am about to share with you at number 1 works through a mechanism so fundamental to vascular aging that researchers are now calling it one of the most important nutritional discoveries in cardiovascular medicine in the last 20 years. Are you ready? Number 1. The oil that the University of Naples study found improved arterial blood flow velocity in seniors by 48% in 8 weeks is pomegranate seed oil. And I know that surprises most people. Pomegranate juice gets some attention, but pomegranate seed oil is a completely different product with a completely different and far more potent mechanism of action. Pomegranate seed oil is the only known significant dietary source of a fatty acid called punicic acid, sometimes called omega-5, which is structurally unique and acts in the body in a way that no other oil does. Here's what makes it so extraordinary for senior circulation specifically. Punicic acid has been shown in research from the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel to directly activate a protein called PPAR gamma, which stands for peroxisome proliferator activated receptor gamma. But all you need to know is that this protein is essentially the master regulator of how your blood vessel cells manage inflammation, fat metabolism, and structural repair. When PPAR gamma is activated in the endothelial cells lining your leg arteries and veins, those cells begin repairing their own structure, reducing inflammation from the inside out, and restoring their ability to produce nitric oxide, that traffic controller we talked about earlier that opens extra lanes for blood flow. In the Naples clinical trial, participants aged 65 to 81 who consumed just 1 teaspoon of pomegranate seed oil daily showed measurable improvements in what is called ankle brachial index, a standard clinical measurement of how efficiently blood is flowing from the heart all the way to the lower legs and feet within the very first 2 weeks. By week 8, the 48% improvement in flow velocity was accompanied by a 31% reduction in reported leg fatigue and a 27% improvement in walking distance without discomfort. In aging bodies specifically, pomegranate seed oil addresses one of the deepest drivers of circulatory decline, the mitochondrial dysfunction in vascular smooth muscle cells. Your blood vessels are not passive tubes. They are actively maintained by smooth muscle cells that require enormous amounts of cellular energy to function. As mitochondria, the energy generators inside every cell decline with age. Vascular smooth muscle cells lose their ability to properly regulate tone and responsiveness. Punicic acid from pomegranate seed oil has been shown to improve mitochondrial membrane integrity in vascular cells, restoring their energy production capacity and their ability to respond appropriately to blood flow signals. For practical use, 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed pomegranate seed oil daily is the evidence-based starting point. It has a mild, slightly nutty flavor and can be taken directly or mixed into a small amount of yogurt or drizzled over fruit. Do not heat it. For maximum synergistic effect, pair it with fresh pomegranate arils or pomegranate juice, as the elegitannins in the fruit flesh work alongside the punicic acid in the seed oil through entirely complementary pathways. The fruit targets the glycocalyx, the gel-like lining inside your blood vessels, while the seed oil targets the smooth muscle and endothelial cells. Research from the Cleveland Clinic found that this whole pomegranate approach produced circulatory improvements roughly 60% greater than pomegranate juice or seed oil consumed in isolation. This is a compound food strategy. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Here's what I want you to carry with you after watching this video today. Your legs have been trying to tell you something. That heaviness, that cramping, those cold feet, that no amount of warm socks seems to fix, those are not simply signs of getting older. They are signs that your blood vessels need specific nutritional support that the modern diet simply does not provide in adequate amounts. Flaxseed oil to restore arterial flexibility. Extra virgin olive oil to reawaken your endothelial cells and their nitric oxide production. Marine omega-3 oil to reduce the thickness and stickiness of your blood. Blackcurrant seed oil to restore the prostacyclin pathways that keep your vessels relaxed and responsive. And pomegranate seed oil, the most powerful of all, to repair your vascular smooth muscle at the mitochondrial level and restore blood flow velocity in a way that clinical science has now confirmed is nothing short of remarkable. I have watched patients in their 70s and 80s implement these strategies and reclaim the ability to walk through their neighborhoods, play with their grandchildren, travel, garden, and live the lives they were afraid were behind them. It is not too late. The science says so, and I have seen it with my own eyes. Your independence is worth fighting for, and your body is still capable of responding in extraordinary ways when you give it what it actually needs. If this video gave you something valuable today, one new idea, one new tool, one moment of real hope, please subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss what I share each week. And I want to ask you one final question for the comments. Which of these 5 oils are you going to try first, and what leg circulation symptom are you most hoping to address? Drop your answer below along with your age. I read every single comment, and your story inspires not just me, but every other senior watching this video who is on the same journey as you. I will see you in the next one.